I hereby will be renaming Cinco de Mayo as Cinco de Porto, celebrating the deportation of illegals. Anyway, welcome to another video, a brand new video, boys and girls. Today we are looking at Doge situations. A lot of people have been harassing me in the comments because apparently over the last day, Doge went absolutely nutso. They went on Fox News, they reported a whole goddamn big ass, gigantic, huge ass list of incredible discoveries that they found. Apparently they've been catching feds deleting records on Doge. Apparently with Doge they've also been they found out that the Institute of Peace was funding the Taliban. Apparently with Doge they also discovered some other crazy situations, like the fact that Doge is a success now, even according to CNN. The ultimate anti-Doge force on the planet now says Doge is actually good. In other news, apparently Doge and Elon found 100,000 federal workers collecting unemployment insurance while still working. This apparently is a insane update situation. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Doge, Doge stands for the Department of Government Excellency. It's where a bunch of excellent people come together and expose retards. And I love that so much. Speaking of retards, of course, we have to recognize the fact that this is still happening. This is Letitia James slamming Elon Musk and Doge for uncovering government corruption.
Represent, obviously.
Right, this is the New York Attorney General. Very important to recognize the fact that there are still people trying to push back on Doge. In my opinion, this is an opinion, a conspiracy theory. Do not cancel me for this opinion, and do not sue me either. It's not an allegation. It is just an opinion. Anyone that's pushing back on Doge is not only a retard, but is also probably guilty of fraud. I don't want to be rude here. I'm not trying to say things. I know I should be silent. A black woman is about to be speaking, and that is literally the law of the land. However, we have to recognize our privilege for a second and be like, if you're pushing back on exposing government corruption, you might be fucking retarded or a criminal.
Mighty attorneys general, all 18 of us have filed this lawsuit challenging the Department of Treasury.
No. 18 of them came together to sue Doge? Dude, this is like the craziest self-report of all time. Like, you don't understand. They're like, we have to cut down waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. You know, an incredibly basic bitch shit. Even Canada is trying to copy that right now, by the way, in case you're unaware. Even Canada is trying to copy this. And then every single person who commits fraud stands up and is like, you can't make this up, man. Like, dude, it's the second biggest self-report I've seen all day. After this one, where Tectone says, I'm genuinely considering full swapping to YouTube if this terrorist propaganda isn't punished harshly on Twitch. Hassan repeats it, freaking out. Oh no, what will we do if the bald pervert will leave the Twitch platform for good? I mean, I love it when Hassan, Hamas, Diddy Piker, Diddy party enthusiast, and brothel enjoyer calls people perverts. It makes me happy. But you gotta appreciate this self-report is fucking crazy. He's like, terrorist propaganda is bad, and he's like, Ree! Like, come on, man. Like, dude, the self-reports, they're so good.
Because they've gained access to the private information of countless Americans, millions of them.
You mean like the DMV and like the IRS? You mean like the 80,000 people working at the IRS that also literally all have information of private citizens? You know, I recently went to the DMV. I had to change my license. I have an American driver's license now. I had to swap out my Canadian one. And guess what? They have my information now. An unelected random guy in the DMV has my information. Wow, that's crazy.
Americans, their private information.
This is just fear-mongering. Also, she's fat. Felt like that was important to mention because if she should try to work out and lose weight, I don't want her to, you know, like, it's important.
Security numbers.
It's the biggest data breach in American history.
These people are literally fear-mongering with like the cringe music in the background. Like, why are you like this? Bro, stop being such a gigantic pussy. A colossal pussy. A gigantic vagina.
It's a hostile takeover.
Yeah.
That's
It's not a hostile takeover of anything. How did they release this video again?
It is.
Oh.
And who elected? Could you tell me?
Nobody.
Nobody elected him. Has he been subject to any conflicts?
Conflicts of interest. What about confirmation by the Senate?
None whatsoever.
None of that.
And who has power of the...
Like, it's so funny how they take two people that obviously think the same way, and they have like this obviously scripted conversation, and they're like, Elon Musk is bad, isn't he? Oh, but he's so bad though.
First, it's Congress. And so this is like the unprecedented violation of the separation of powers. And that's why we're here, to enforce the law.
Federal court. Right
Federal
here.
court, exactly.
You care about the rule of law. Will you quit?
Yeah, so this might be one of the most cringe videos I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a little more fear-mongering on TikTok for the people, where, you know, everyone sits together and they jump over their words and they try absolutely to scare people into thinking that this is like some sort of gigantic fucking tragedy against American democracy because people are having oversight. So apparently Fox News just did this interview with them, or rather just recorded them in their board meeting. It got 4 million views. In less than a week. Like, this is absolutely popping the fuck off right now. And apparently they released so much information, like brand new info. And I'll be honest, we got to dive into this. Doge has been one of the biggest W's of the entire Trump administration so far. So hell yeah, dude, let's go.
Tonight, our exclusive look into Doge. Elon Musk was nice enough to invite us into the Eisenhower building last night to sit in on his weekly 10 p.m. Doge meeting. Yeah, they usually meet at 10 o'clock.
Damn.
I'm almost in bed by then. We met the whole crew, even Big Balls.
They are Big Balls!
And they showed us how Doge really gets
Big
done.
Balls was there, guys! Big Balls mentioned! Oh, God, you've got to be kidding me, man.
We sat back, listened, and we learned a lot. And we hope you do too. Here's part 1 of our exclusive interview.
All right.
Elon, thank you so much for bringing us into the meeting here. I'm going to do something no anchor ever does. I'm not going to talk.
I'm going to put my... Oh, my God, so based! So based! That might be the greatest twist in the history of reporting. Oh my God. I mean, we'll see if he lies and he just talks. But that's crazy. That's awesome.
What?
For as
You're talking right now.
I'm going to let you run your meeting, and then I'll interrupt when I'm bored. So take it away.
All right. Okay, dude, we are actually getting an inside look at what the Doge weekly meeting looks like. This is incredible. Bro.
Like a board meeting.
Like a board meeting, exactly.
All right. Well, I guess we normally go around the table, say what do we get done this week?
All right, dude. What do we get done this week? Literally, actual fucking terror. This is terrorism for, like, the useless employees in the government. Like, hey, what did you get done this week? And they're like, and they all just lose their mind and freak out. They actually do this every time. Dirty laundry of the fucking government, baby. Every single scumfuck that tried to scuttle under the rug with their bullshit money laundering scheme. Everyone's terrified. And that's why Big Tish is terrified.
Sure.
This is Big Tish, by the way. This is Big Tish, in case you were unaware, because she's big, like in stature. She's tall. She's tall. Big Tish is tall.
No, we start with you.
Sure. So actually, a lot of great work at the Treasury this week.
All right, let's go.
One of the crazy things with regards to the Treasury is that when a payment is made, and the computers at the Treasury actually pay about $5 trillion per year, like crazy amounts, there was formerly not a budget code on there. So if a payment was made, you didn't know actually what it was for.
No. How incompetent was the government? How incompetent was the government? You've got to be kidding me. They didn't even have like a fucking little notes thing that tells you where the money... And then you got the Democrats out there slamming their head against the wall. That's our bribe money, sir. That was our fraud. You are tampering with our fraud. How am I going to keep up my luxurious lifestyle?
It could have been for anything.
Yeah.
There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education, and there was no receipts required.
Why was there a COVID fund in the Department of Education?
So people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us.
All right.
They found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out...
You have got to be kidding me. It's like, on the one hand, I'm so mad that this has been happening. On the other hand, I am so happy it's getting exposed. God, this truly is some of the most glorious freaking redemption arcs I've ever seen. And it's actually the country. Dude.
Stadiums, etc. And so the one change that Doge made...
We were very surprised when we saw it in the COVID fund. A lot of the money in the COVID fund went to hookers and blow. Now, I'm not sure what this is referring to, but it seems like a lot of the fucking COVID funds would go to that.
With Department of Education is we have...
I mean, we looked into everyone's favorite congresswoman, AOC, what she had to say. AOC had no comment.
had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so...
I mean, this is so obvious, right? Like, dude, like the craziest thing is when I pay taxes, okay? When I pay taxes, do you know how it works? If I say that X amount of money was a business expense, believe it or not, I have to prove that it was business expense. If I say I spent $1,000 on a laptop, I have to show a receipt for an $1,000 laptop. I'm not, like, this is just incredibly basic. I have no idea why this wasn't required.
Nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog. Anything.
Anything.
Anything. But as soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore.
Nah, dude.
Huh, that's interesting.
They were renting Caesar's Palace.
Yes, they were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Wow, this is iDubbbz all over again. Fucking Creator Clash 2 made no money for charity, but they did manage to throw a gala at an extravagant hotel for all the YouTubers that showed up. Like, this is mind-boggling. Hello, government. They have to at least have a record of who did this. I want people to get fired and arrested for fraud. Like, dude, this is our money. Partying with my taxes? Oh my God. This is like, it's unacceptable. It's theft. It's literally theft. Like, you're thinking about this the wrong way. You, person in chat, are literally thinking about this the wrong way. You have to look at this like they took your money to party with it. They were supposed to take your money to fix the pothole on your block that wrecked your car, but they didn't. Instead, they partied with that money.
Yes.
Leasing stadiums.
Leasing stadiums.
For what?
For parties, basically.
For parties.
Yes.
That's a big party.
It's a big party.
You'd think if you were stealing, you'd start small.
They probably did steal small too. This is just the big steals that
Start small. But then what happens is over the years, so generally the fraud starts out small and they try to hide it. But then year after year, if nobody stops the fraud, it gets more and more brazen. And every year it gets bigger until they're literally renting out stadiums.
That's crazy.
What's that, $1 million to rent out a stadium?
Fraud in flagrante delicto, okay? We're talking at scale.
This is driving me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
When you find these things, do you guys get mad?
My fucking money. They're taking my I'm Jewish. They're taking a Jew's money right here. That is the worst thing you could do to a Jew. After the Holocaust, I guess.
You're like, yes, I got one. How does it make you feel?
It's so common.
It's so common.
Yeah, how does it make you feel? I don't know. This is the 74th stadium that we found was rented out, bro. Like, dude, this is crazy. It's like, we got used to it. Surprisingly, there was this person who was hired in the government. Her name was Destiny Sparkles. And for some reason, Destiny Sparkles had made a lot of money, of taxpayer money. We don't exactly know what Destiny Sparkles did. We're not exactly certain what her actual job was.
I mean, you just get
so numb to it.
Unfortunately, you get, like the 100th time you've heard it, it's hard not to get a little numb. Yeah. You know. But
it is numbing. It makes people numb to see millions of dollars going to waste. They have to arrest people for this. Holy shit. Diddy freak-off parties in fucking stadiums run by the fucking blue satanic pedophiles in the government.
And by the 200th time, you're like, well, okay, it's just another day at the office.
We checked, is the Small Business Administration giving loans to dead people over the age of 120? The answer was yes, and it was around $330 million in total. So
this is a lot of money, man. Where was that money going? Because obviously the dead people didn't pick it up. So who fucking made that money? It's so infuriating. Like, we could laugh at the retardation of it all, and I firmly believe that when some crazy batshit insane stuff is happening in the world, you can either cry about it or laugh about it, and it's just healthier to laugh if you can. So I do prefer that mentality. We could laugh at the retards that are getting annihilated. But this is crazy.
Birthday that could not possibly be real. Yeah. Meaning they're over 100, they're 115 years old or older. The oldest living American is 114. So it's safe to say if anybody is in the system as 115 years or older, that is fake.
So just by sharing a database and looking at social security numbers that showed that at the time of the loan, they had listed as over 115 years old, or actually under 11. We didn't even check for under 18.
Babies and dead
under 11 years old. That's pretty clear.
Babies and people who are getting loans.
That was
babies and dead people getting loans from the government. Hell yeah. My taxpayer money going to dead people and babies. Woo!
$660 million.
And also people with birth dates in the future.
What does that mean?
Born in 2027.
I mean, I think the birth date, I think in one case was like
fetuses were getting
no,
loans.
not even. It really sort of you're talking about like your great grandchildren. Like with the birth date, like I think it was like 2165. So more than a century from now was the birth date.
George Jetson
Dracula getting loans early.
was getting paid.
Yes, because your birthday is in the future, like the far future, not like next year.
Right.
And this is either fraudulent or we have your birthday wrong.
Right. It's either a typo or someone stealing.
Which is it? Yes.
Right.
Yes. You should at least ask, which is it?
Yeah, but somehow the government just let that stay in and money went out and no one knows who got that money. Like, think about how insane this is. Think about how there's hundreds of millions of dollars, these billions of dollars, I think, at this point, right? They almost got $250 billion worth of savings, I think. Like, if you look at something like that and you see how ghosts and babies are getting doged right now, and money is going out, and no one knows where the money's really going. You just know it's fraud. You gotta realize how insane that is. Like, you have to realize this was probably done largely by accident, but also largely maliciously. And it just means that there was a massive amount of incompetence in the government aside from the fraudsters. I am so happy they're slashing this shit. It's insane. Time travelers abusing the system is very unlikely.
You guys feel you're getting justice and accountability?
One of the extreme
silence. They're like, there is so much. We have barely begun. Oh God, Elon tweeted they found $1 trillion in savings at this point. No. Wait, hold up. Is that true? Okay. I can't find Elon's Twitter. What the fuck? What happened to Elon's Twitter? Normally he just shows up at the very top. Oh, never mind. Never mind. He renamed himself Gorklon Rust. Now we know why. All right, never mind. Yeah, okay. All right, fine. You know, what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do, bro? All right, sure. Trillion. That's Elon. Reducing fraud and waste of your tax dollars by $1 trillion in 2026 is possible. That's what he said on March 1st. So it's fuck. That's crazy. I don't know, man.
extreme examples of non-accountability in some cases has occurred at some of the small agencies. I think the Inter-American Foundation, IAF, is one of the agencies we visited, where they get $50 million a year, congressional money, to give grants. These are things like alpaca farming in Peru.
That's a real example.
Yes.
Why are millions of dollars of American taxpayer dollars going to alpaca farming in Peru? Oh man, dude. Oh Lord. Like, why, bro? Stop. Underwater chicken tickling is becoming a reality one day at a time. Alpacas are cute, yeah, sure. But the people in Peru should deal with that shit.
That's the real description. Improving the marketability of peas in Guatemala.
Like, you don't understand how insane this is. He says these things, and like, you have no, like, it doesn't sound even remotely real. Like, if they would say this in some fucking spy movie or whatever, we have discovered that we've spent billions of dollars on the marketability of peas in Guatemala. You wouldn't believe that shit. You wouldn't, like, that sounds retarded.
Really?
Fruit jam. And yes.
Yeah.
So you might expect, in the private sector, a nonprofit to give, 80 to 90% of their money to grantees. In the case of IAF, that was 58%. So the other half goes towards management, travel.
What we're find exactly, I mean, to Ethan's example is that even if you agreed with supporting alpaca farmers in Peru, well, actually, most of the money never made it out of DC. It's going into the pockets of people in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so it turns out if you made believe you spent $1 million in the marketability of peas in fucking Uzbekistan, and in reality, that money never left the fucking country. Yet, what the fuck happened to that money? And how did they get away with even making believe that's what they were going for?
Neighborhood.
What percentage
to Peru?
Right. So what percentage do you think doesn't even get to the destination it's supposed to?
I believe the GAO estimate, so this is not our estimate, I believe it was on the order of only 10 to 15 cents on the dollar actually gets to the end recipient, whether you agree with that cause or not.
So they're just stealing the money before it even gets.
No.
Whether you agree with that cause or not.
So they're just...
On the dollar actually gets, I believe it was on the order of only 10 to 15 cents on the dollar actually gets to the end recipient. Whether you agree...
10 to 15%. So, like, aside from the fact that there are all these unbelievably retarded fucking things that America is supposedly funding, all right? Like, despite, you know, they're spending supposedly hundreds of millions of dollars on the marketability of peas and, you know, transgender awareness society and the battle of LGBT people in Uzbekistan and Iraqi Sesame Street. They claim they're spending millions on that shit, but in reality, only 10 to 15% goes there with what, an 85% consultation fee? Like, this is unbelievable. This is crazy. Oh my God. The Andes Mountain Guinea Pig Therapy Sessions are truly being funded by America. Yeah, 100%. This is insane. Dude.
Agree with that cause or not.
So they're just stealing the money before it even gets anywhere.
And he is so comfortable saying yes. He's not even afraid of getting sued for any form of defamation or anything. I by the way, personally, I know people are going to say, no, you need evidence. No, I fully believe it. I fully believe this, by the way. I really do. I 100% believe this. There is no reason for him to lie about this and these numbers. And he's willing to put his accountability on the line to say this kind of thing. It'll come out. You'll see. It'll be proven. I fully believe this. This is ridiculous.
Layers of stealing. So there's the first layer of stealing, second layer of stealing, third layer of stealing.
Wait. So hold on. Let me get this straight. America writes a grant. That they are going to be sending $100 million to surprise butt sex in Somalia. Surprise butt sex in Somalia is getting $100 million. All right, it sounds retarded, but that's what they claim. So immediately, someone takes 50% for themselves. Then they send out the other $50 million to the next NGO. The next NGO takes 50%. Then they send out the next $25 million. And then the next NGO takes another 50%, another $12 million. That leaves you with $12,500,000. And that ends up going to surprise butt sex in Somalia. Taxation is theft with extra steps. Like, this is insanity. Insanity, dude. Oh my God. Layers of stealing. Bro, and people are against Doge. And fucking Big Tish out there in New York is against Doge.
Subcontractor.
Peeling the onion. Yeah, exactly. Contractor, subcontractor. It's like peeling an onion. And then maybe, and sometimes it's zero. Just flat, you get to the bottom of the onion.
As I told on a very important woman in my life, women are like onions. And she's like, aw, we have layers. And I was like, you make me cry. It went over very well. Smiles all around, I'm saying.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
So maybe no one got a sex change in Guatemala.
It's possible that no one got a sex change in Guatemala.
I overheard a contractor tell one of her colleagues to falsify billable hours by creating a PowerPoint to mask a delay in the onboarding process in front of me. And this is like hour zero at this agency.
All right.
And so, I mean, this is just a common theme that you take a look at these contracts, you take a look at these grants, and it's veiled in noble rhetoric. You know, it's at the top level. It
sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And then you actually just follow what are the funds actually doing?
Or send us a picture.
Exactly. And
this is a picture request is incredibly good.
It's crazy. This is like debating fucking libtards when it comes to anything. Dude, this is like how Hassan debates. Hassan will claim something insane and ridiculous, and you'll be like, do you have evidence of this? And he'll be like, and it's over. It's literally over. Like, this is the fucking debate tactic of, like, your average retard. Like, it's insane. It's like, hey, bro, you're claiming that millions of dollars are going to, you know, underwater sex change operations for manatees, but in reality, I don't know if that's true. Do you have any evidence of this happening? And they just lose their mind. Pixar didn't happen. Dude, this is crazy.
Like Pixar didn't happen.
That's wild.
And then they're like, and it wouldn't be that hard to just, frankly, they could search for some fake pics on the internet or get AI to generate the pics, but they don't even bother doing that.
So you caught them cold fraud.
Oh, I caught her advising her colleague to do this because it takes a few days to onboard. So.
Wait, he straight up caught them doing billing fraud and they just keep going? Pre-watched? Not pre-watched, okay? Pixar, it didn't happen. It's a common slogan. Stop.
That is being investigated right now.
Yeah, I mean...
I cannot believe that Doge found a gay Gundam mobile suit funded by USAID in 2022. It's known to have sex with other Gundams.
It's generally like these programs, these grants are going to be like along the lines of save the baby pandas. And it's like, well, of course, who wouldn't want to...
All right, saving baby pandas. That's great. Everyone loves saving baby pandas, sure. Almost as much as saving humans.
Save the baby pandas. And you know, in some cases, they've got a show panda, which they will trot out for special occasions. In a lot of cases...
They fucking pimp out a panda to make it look like they're saving pandas? There's no fucking way. Like, this is insane. You've got to be shitting me.
They don't even have a show panda.
No panda.
There's not even one panda because we asked for pictures. And
dude, they're like, listen, we spent $100 million on saving pandas. Okay, can you send me a picture of a panda? And they're like,
we don't even get one panda. And it's like, well, you gotta, well, that's a lot.
Like, here's the thing. There are so many layers to this. Like, on the one hand, it's like, and I think it's so important to differentiate between these, all right, that's my tier list of humans. Pay no attention to that. So, in my opinion, all right, so, like, there are so many layers to the Doge shit. All right, so first, you got to realize the first thing that Doge does is it finds where the money is going. So, the first thing is waste. Like, you could completely think that spending $100 million on protecting pandas when Americans can't afford houses is insane. I think that's a perfectly valid perspective to have. Why are we saving pandas when in reality, we can't afford houses? I think that is a perfectly valid stance. A level above that is the fraud aspect. There were no pandas. There were no pandas. That's the crazier part, right? Think about how insane that is, dude. Like, on the one hand, I don't support you know, sending money to pandas or whatever, but, you know, all right, that's what you claim you're doing. Fraud is when the pandas never existed. And then abuse is when you see the fucking Diddy parties that are being thrown instead of actually using this money, our tax money, by the way, our tax money, it's going to throw extravagant hookers and coke parties, all right? Like, do you recognize how insane this is? And the craziest part is the Democrats decided this is a hill they are gonna die on. They will die on this hill. Do you recognize how insane this is? And then Big Tish is gonna come out and be like, man, I can't believe an unelected official is looking into our fraud.
You know, what does $1 billion get you? It does not even get you one.
Did you see what I did there?
Panda?
You really want to see a baby panda?
Yeah, that will...
Baby pandas are cute and cuddly, but that's not even the point. But there are layers to this shit.
Like, you know, like the Ebola money. We're like, okay, well, we agree with, like, we shouldn't have Ebola.
All right, Ebola, that's bad. All right, that's bad, sure, okay.
Where is the money going? Oh, it's going to Deloitte in D.C. Like...
Dude, they can't be this, like, dude, they're not even smart. Like, they're the dumbest criminals of all time. Like, they're actually retarded criminals. It's like, we are saving Palestine with this one, and then they just forward the money to their private bank account in DC. You've got to be kidding. Listen, no one was looking, so they did whatever they want. I am so glad that Doge exists.
What is an accounting firm doing with Ebola money?
What has been the biggest resistance? Is there one agency? Is there one department that when you guys walk in?
And remember, these are the ethical people, the tolerant people out there that definitely don't want any form of government looking into where their money, our tax money is going.
They all start fighting you, start hiding things.
I thought you weren't going to talk.
I'm sorry.
But I guess you can answer that question. Sure. I mean, let's. Yes, we've certainly had some battles.
Battles.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
I mean, you should talk about Yusuf.
Nate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jesse, there's a small agency called the United States Institute of Peace.
The one that put up the biggest fight was the Institute of Peace. Stop, bro.
It's definitely the agency we had the most fight at. We actually went into the agency and found they had loaded guns inside of their headquarters.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. These are like the anti-gun people, Institute of Peace, locked and loaded. They were...
Institute for Peace.
I mean, any given company, any given organizational name.
This is like Hassan saying that he's anti-genocide and he supports the most genocidal terrorists on the fucking planet.
It's going to kind of be the opposite of the title.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was by far the
mostly peaceful guns. Mostly peaceful guns. You've got to be kidding me.
least peaceful agency that we've worked with, ironically.
Of course.
Additionally, we found that they were spending money on things like private jets, and they even had a $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban.
Nah. Wait.
Jets, and they even had a $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban.
This is fucking retarded. Like, what do you even like? This is insane. The Institute of Peace had a contract with the Taliban, bro. Like, when are we gonna understand and realize the fact that, believe it or not, Trump auditing this makes him the peace candidate? These are traitors. These people should go to prison for treason. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I mean, Doge already uncovered that it turns out that all the Hamas terrorist tunnels were funded by the American taxpayers. Like, do you realize how insane it is? You got America giving Hamas terrorists in Gaza terrorist tunnels, and then giving Israel money for weapons to bomb those terrorist tunnels. Like, are we on the same page? This is insanity. America was operated like the shoddiest, crappiest, random conglomeration of fraudulent pieces of shit, literally acting for their own bottom line every single time. Institute of Peace.
This is real. We don't encounter that at most agencies.
Mostly peaceful Taliban members.
What was the money going to the Taliban for?
So it was a contractor. They received $130,000 for generic services. And to Elon's point, there was not actually a
generic services. Yep, no one knows.
Your description of what the contractor services were for. But
was it for opium?
Unclear.
Or weapons?
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
or abroad.
Or nothing. Or maybe nothing. Maybe they gave them $130,000 worth of alpacas.
Or nothing.
And you naturally have to ask the question, how did we get here? Like, when the country was founded,
there
were only 4 agencies. Today there are over 400. So there's been a 100x increase in the number of agencies since the founding of the nation. And thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on. And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban.
Oh yeah. So try to hide the evidence.
Right. So
they had to fund sex change surgeries in the Taliban somehow, and it's not like they were gonna go to the oligarchy over there to actually get that done.
A few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over 1 terabyte of accounting records from several.
Feds deleting records. Isn't that treason, man? Like, what are we even doing here? Why are we playing this game and making believe that Elon Musk is the bad guy and these people are the good guys? Like, why are the Democrats even trying? Like, they all need to get up and go visit Alberto Garcia in this fucking prison for El Salvadorian terrorists. Like, you have got to be kidding me. Hillary Clinton on steroids.
Leaders. So you'd have to ask the question, well, why would somebody do that? The Doge team, fortunately, was able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees.
Like, do you realize how much is a terabyte? And this isn't like a terabyte of like high definition 4K ultra, plasma screen TV porn, all right, that they needed an exclusive lighting with unbelievable effects, all right? This was tax records. This was data. It was straight text. A terabyte of text? Do you know how much that is?
At the Institute of Peace. And I think the most troubling thing was they received $55 million a year from Congress, and any money that went unspent, instead of returning that to Congress, they would sweep it into a private bank account, which had no congressional oversight. And that's what they would use to fund things like events at their headquarters and the private jets. And so I think it's a great example because
but Trump is the oligarchy. That's right. Trump is the oligarchy, ladies and gentlemen. 100%. So according to the AI, how many pages would be a terabyte worth of text? A page is around 250 to 300 words. So apparently that would be about 500 million pages that they deleted. That's a crazy number. Like, what are you even gonna do? And that's assuming that it's not like in zip files or text files. Like, that's assuming that it is the least organized way to have text. That's insane.
Most Americans don't know what's going on at a lot of these smaller agencies, and this is, I think, the most extreme case of some of the wasteful spend that we're finding.
So the agencies are hiding money from you. They're sending it to the Taliban. They have loaded weapons in the department buildings.
At the Institute of Peace.
At the Institute of
Yeah, that's right.
So this is a cover-up when you guys roll in.
This one, yes, a cover-up. They did delete.
This is crazy! This is this is treason, man. This is treason, bro.
Amount of financial information. That's really a definition of a cover-up.
Isn't that illegal to delete evidence?
Yes.
Good reporting there, Mr. Fox News anchor. You are cooking today.
And documents?
It is. It's certainly illegal to delete accounting records that Congress would certainly want to know where the congressionally appropriated funds are going from taxpayers.
When you catch them going Hillary style on their computers, do you refer this to the Department of Justice?
In this case, we did refer the evidence in the accounting example to the FBI and DOJ, and we were proud to do that. So yes, we did.
Resistance has shown up in some very surprising places. So for example, the famous fork in the road email, the deferred resignation program. So this was a program where you could resign from the government, collect pay and benefits for the next 8 months. Probably the most attractive separation program ever in human history. And the resistance actually came from the outside with people saying this is a trick. And somebody
everyone did this. Twitter blew up. Every Democrat. Doge is they are unelected officials, and they are coming in, and they are going to try their absolute best to try and get your private information. And they are even firing poor government employees that are funding Taliban members and fake pandas. Yeah. All 7 swing states voted for this. They're making America less gay every day.
Refer to it as an apple with a razor blade. And no, this was just a really juicy apple, caramel dipped apple. It was that good, but people were talked out of taking it. And now what started to happen is we did have about 80,000 people take it, and now those folks who did take it are on the beach or they've moved on to a new job and they're still getting paid. And so now we're starting to offer Fork 2 and Fork 3, where people can see that someone's eaten this apple and it was actually really tasty and good for them.
Is Doge just getting started? This is a long-term
I want to hear
enterprise.
yes. This needs to be, this is maybe one of the most important departments in the entire government right now. Absolutely audit the fuck out of this shit. It is insufferable and unacceptable that my taxpayer money is going to this. It is. It frankly is. Every time I pay taxes, it makes me want to cry. I hate taxes so much. You don't understand how much I hate them. But I pay them because I'm a goddamn patriot. That and I don't want to go to jail for tax fraud. So I pay those taxes. I want them to go to something important. Come on, man.
It's a long-term enterprise because if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
Obviously.
They can Doge.
It was the personal piggy bank of all these people.
Doge when Democrats get back in power.
I mean, again, if Doge ends up bought by a specific government entity, if you think about how insane this is, if you think about how crazy this is, like imagine Doge just gets owned by another corrupt government like existed during the Biden administration. And anyone says the Biden administration wasn't a corrupt government, they're retarded. Biden wasn't the president. He was a Muppet. He was a bag of potatoes held together with spit and duct tape. They got the fucking necromancers to bring him in to the goddamn office every morning. The crypt keeper made sure to wake him and make sure he was bright and early before falling down a flight of stairs. That man was not a knowing president of the country. He was mostly dead. So realistically, whatever the fuck went on with whoever the fuck controlled America for those 4 years where Biden was president of the United States, if they would own Doge and replace Doge with their people, then the auditing department would also be corrupt and crooked. Like, it is insane. It's crazy. America needs to fucking turn around in the next 4 years. This is like, I feel like almost America's last chance at surviving. God damn.
Yeah, well, I think some of the things that, like, we're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So that if there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud, and that will at least slow it down.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
That was crazy. That was absolutely insane. Oh my God. What a wild fucking ride. So yeah, Doge catches feds deleting records. Institute of Peace was giving money to the Taliban. What a wild goddamn ride. And can I just say, finally, final thoughts on this entire situation. Every single time I hear what's being funded and how it's not, the money isn't even going to the retarded shit that they're supposedly funding, I have to say, the real hero of this entire situation, it's not Elon Musk. It's not Fox News guy here for actually putting this together. It's not even Big Balls. It's this fucking mad lad holding the boom mic. What a goddamn legend. This dude holding the boom mic is the true hero of this entire story. Bro's got some arm strength for real, for real. Holy shit. insane. Can you imagine if they got a DEI hire to hold that boom mic? That wouldn't fly, and they know that. God damn, that's insane. Shout out to Mike Guy, because he does not get the love and respect he deserves. He contributed to this. He really did. He might skip leg day, but damn, I respect the hell out of that guy. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Just wanted to pleasantly remind you that all this fraud has probably been happening for all of our entire lives, and it probably has gotten extensively worse over the Biden administration. Lots of wars started with Biden. It would have never happened if I was president. All 7 swing states wanted this fucking overhaul of government to happen, and it's happening. So lock in, boys and girls. The content over the next 4 years is going to be fucking premium. See ya, gamers. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.